Vicky, what's going on with the lawsuit? Yeah, so what happened is there's the old Temple Bethor was bought by new owners. They opened up a school in there, which is not legal. It's not a legal use. They would have to do site plan approval, planning board for that to be legal. And so they haven't done that. Code enforcement officer was on top of it, sending letters, advising him, having telephone conversations, and finally it came to a point where the school had closed for a couple weeks. So we thought maybe they had complied, but then when they reopened, that was it as far as the turning point. They reopened as a school again after some type of break. So it was time for violations. Went out, cease and desist order, violation notice, fines up $2,000 a day, as well as cease and desist, meaning stop your operations, close it down. So they ignored that. Unfortunately, the new owners ignored that, and so we had to file a lawsuit. The town has filed a lawsuit in order to enforce our zoning laws. So that is filed down in Ocean County. It's done on what's called an order to show cause basis, which means we should get a hearing fairly quickly with regards to our request to have them cease and desist, have the business closed until they do the proper paperwork. And so we haven't heard yet before which judge it's before, but it just came to a point. It's safety issues. There's no plan for where school buses go. There's no plan for if people are dropping off in a car. There's turning radii. There's fire subcode. There's no check for prevention and suppression. It's a different use. Even though place of worship is one use, the school is different, and it's different requirements. So it's property is being treated just the same as any other property in the town. When there's a violation, it goes through the steps. It gets to the point where not many in town get there, but a few have, where you have to end up going and asking the court for additional help, because obviously so the town can't go down and can't go into a business and shut it down. The Ocean County Health Department can, but again, I think it has court intervention with that. But as far as a town, we can't just put a lock on the door or something like that. Only the judge can order that. So that's the process that we're in now. That's the step that we're at. It's unfortunate how to get to this, but everybody has to follow the same laws here in town, no matter who the owner is. And unfortunately, they're not, and so we have to go to the extra step of filing an actual lawsuit.
I'm Joe Orth. I'm 30 Cleveland Ave. So first, I just wanted to say thank you to Mayor Ducey and your team for being so proactive in addressing the situation at 200 Van Zyl. We look forward as it progresses through the court system, so thank you. But secondly, I just wanted to bring to your attention 91 Hendrickson, which is a residential home that's being allegedly used as a dormitory for the high school on Van Zyl. As of tonight, we would like to let you know that the same person has purchased 226 Van Zyl. So now the synagogue / illegal boys school is owned by David Gluck, 91 Hendrickson, David Gluck, 226 Van Zyl, David Gluck. So I think we're seeing a story being written here, and it's not good, and we're concerned. So I'm just asking you to look into the situation. Residential neighborhood dormitories, and realize that people are being directly affected every day. And they're frustrated, and we're all frustrated. I guess in layman's terms, dormitories cannot be allowed to just spring up next to grandma and grandpa or next to a family with children in a residential neighborhood. It's a safety issue. So with all that said, if we don't strictly enforce our zoning and our land use ordinances, right now, we don't have a town. So respectfully, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Eileen Catalano, and I live at 82 Hendrickson Avenue in Brick. And as was just stated, we're a community established, and I understand is going through the courts. I myself, I would just like to see it shut down as quickly as possible. We're a residential street, and we're not zoned for this boarding house that's going on, and at times at 91 Hendrickson, there has been approximately 19 people boarding in that single-family home. With that also, as was mentioned, other homes have presumably been purchased with the same intention to use as boarding homes for the school in our area. There are cars and day and night coming and going into 91 Hendrickson, cars, vans, dropping off and picking up the men that live there. The men that live there also walk the streets all hours of the day and night. These men are not looking to become part of our community on our blocks in that area or part of the brick community. Their goal is not to abide by the rules of our community or for the betterment of our community. They seek to advance their own agenda at the expense of our community. They look not to assimilate, but to infiltrate and disembowel our community. This is made perfectly clear by the fact that with knowledge and forethought, they sought to circumvent the rules that our community has established and proceed with what they wanted to do without hesitation, recompense, or remorse for their unlawful actions. We need to rectify these brazen actions and send a message that we as a community stand behind our established laws, rules, and codes, and that we as a community will protect, care for, and nurture our present and future families of brick. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm John DiGregorio. I live at 235 Pella Road in Brick.
Oh, you want to pick the mic up now? You're a little taller.
Testing 1, 2.
Go ahead.
Did you hear that? Do I need to repeat it?
No, you're good.
Okay. So we've been residents in Bricktown for over 30 years. And when we had our house built on Pello back in '91, there wasn't as much traffic as there is now. So even the school that's at the end of the road by Hendrickson and Pello, that's increased in size with the administration building, the addition of another school partition there. So the situations that were brought up earlier about the alleged dorm and the supposed synagogue, which is really a boys' high school, it's more serious than you can imagine. The number of persons coming and going at that alleged dormitory is factual. It is at least 17, 18, 19, 20 people, and it's constant. The fact to have a dormitory in a development, I mean, that shouldn't even be allowed, right? And if we're going to have multiples, which seems apparent because the other homes that are being bought up on our street, there's 3 more sold. And it's, you know, it's the intention that there's a number, I hear of 16 additional homes that are being sought after. So with a finite number like that, it kind of tells you there's more on the agenda and there's something to come. So for the fact that we know students are, you know, they're going to school over there, and I don't think it's any surprise to anyone here. And living there, I'm telling you firsthand, it's happening. And that they want to put dormitories in there, and they're looking for additional housing. The plan is to have enough housing for students for the, well, alleged high school at the corner. So I think it's a critical situation. It's very serious. It needs a lot of attention, and it has to be dealt with very carefully. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.